Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Run, and today we're playing as Blue Baby, one of my favorite characters, but this run was admittedly a catastrophe. It wasn't a catastrophe in the sense that it was a weak run, it wasn't even a terrible run, or maybe I would call it actually a very above average strong run. It was actually insanely strong now that I think about it, because I had 30 damage on the 4th floor, and if that doesn't spell strong, then I don't know what does. You can essentially one-shot most enemies, if not all enemies, and pretty much like 5 or 6-shot most bosses, so there's really no excuse for me to have died so early. But of course, this game isn't just about getting as much damage, as much DPS as possible, there are other aspects to it as well. And the main one I would like to point out in this case is consumable management and how you should use the resources that you have available in order to kind of optimize them. And I've talked about this in the past, but just because I've made so many glaring errors in this one, I feel like they really do take a toll on me, even if they don't necessarily punish me. So for example, I open up a golden chest instead of going to the shop and maybe buying a spirit heart just to get some extra layer of protection. What I decide to do is open the golden chest, of course wasting my key, and there's no guarantee that I'm gonna recuperate my costs. And that's a mistake, and that's something that you should never do unless you know that there's another way for you to get a key via maybe something like the key bag, or maybe you have an arcade and you can spend your money in there to hopefully get another key, or maybe you know that you have a high luck stat and the odds are in your favor. But in this particular case, I feel like you should really know that when there are no consumables in the ground, you really need the shops. The shops are very important for that consumable management, and not only that, there are so many items in there which just help you naturally with getting more ways to get more consumables, and of course with that it just ends up making you stronger. And maybe that was the one part of the mistake I've made. The other part was just me being kind of tired, to be honest. I just had a bit of a long day yesterday, and then I really wasn't focused. And maybe I overestimated my dodging ability. My reflexes were very bad in this one, like my reaction times were very slow. So for that reason, I didn't really avoid damage too well. But then again, also me deciding that I should go from 4 spirit hearts to only 2 black hearts in the case of Judas a Shadow. I thought it was a good idea, and in all respects I think it was, but just because it gives you it gives you very high damage, and I would always say that in Isaac, the best defense is a good offense, because you can kill enemies faster and there's just less chance for them to hit you. But being only 2 black hearts with basically no guarantee to get another health anywhere, and I don't even know if I'm gonna go to the shop, and in this case I went to the curse room, so obviously that's something you want to do, and just kind of risking and trading my health away, I was really underestimating just how damaging that run can be, especially if you're in a bit of a drowsy state and you can't really dodge well. And the first mistake here that I make was just underestimating my speed. I think that's the best way to put it. It's just the room that doesn't really show up that often, the one with the spikes which come down and up with the red poop in the middle. You just have to go really fast, you have to really time it well, so you stop at the middle and then you go to the other side. Or maybe the alternative is, if you're just really fast, you can do it in one fell swoop. And I thought at 1.1 damage I was actually fast enough to get it to the other side, but surprise, I wasn't, and I ended up taking one full spirit heart of damage, and then the other one just happened in this room, which I feel like was a room which I couldn't have avoided, because I couldn't kill the heart fast enough. Maybe if I aimed a little bit better it would have died, but as it turned out the mess came down at me, the heart kind of surrounded me from the side, it shot me from the side. I wasn't able to dodge in any direction, I just ended up eating some damage and I ended up dying, which is embarrassing to say the least, but I think these blunders happen. They're bound to happen, especially if you play every single daily like I do. One day you're just gonna be sleepy, one day you're just not gonna be in the zone, and you're gonna end up taking hit early on and gonna end up dying. But that's not what matters. What matters is consistency, and that we know how to pick ourselves up. And I hope that tomorrow's daily will be a little bit better. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.